Hey guys, what's up? It's Maylee. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys a couple DIY tops that I found on TikTok. There are definitely some amazing DIYs on TikTok, and these are a couple that I found that I really want to try out. So today I'll be doing the Nike flower embroidery top. I've seen this one all around. I believe the original person who posted it, I will link their TikTok down below. And then I will also be trying out making like a tube top out of socks, like literally tie-dyeing some socks and then sewing the socks together to make a tube top. I think TikTok is great because the videos are super fast, so you see the end result like right away. But it's definitely challenging if you're trying to make the DIY because they don't show all the in-between steps. So yes, that is the purpose of today's video. So I'm going to be showing you guys step by step how I make these. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And of course, you can feel free to follow me on TikTok. I'll have my user down below and on the screen right here. And without further ado, let's get right onto the video. For the first DIY, we'll be making this Nike flower embroidery top. So the first thing I did was print out the Nike logo and then cut it out so I can make a stencil with it. Grab whatever top you want to use. Here I'm using a black tank top. I'm putting a folder through it so that there's a flat surface for me to draw on. So using the stencil, I'm drawing out the Nike logo. I'm using a chalk pencil I got from my local craft store, but honestly it didn't work too well for me, so if you're able to get some actual chalk or a fabric marker pen, I would use that instead. Then I'm just putting the shirt through this embroidery hoop. If you look at the embroidery string up close, you'll see that it's actually made of 6 individual smaller strings. I'm going to split this into 2 groups, so each group has 3 strings, and this way I can make finer details. So now I'm just threading those 3 strings, just one of the groups of 2, into the needle, and then I'm making my first flower. This first flower is called the Lazy Daisy Stitch. There's a bunch of tutorials on YouTube, but it's pretty simple. Basically, you're just going to start by bringing your needle up through where you'd want the center of the flower to be, then bring the needle back through right next to where you just came up from, but make sure you don't let the string go all the way through. So I'm just holding it with my thumb, and then you're going to go back up where you'd want the petal of the flower to extend to, and you'll put this through the loop. Then go back under just slightly over the loop, and that's your first petal. So just go back to the center and just repeat the step for the rest of your petals. After you've done all the petals that you want and you're ready to tie off the string, you're going to flip the shirt over and then just tie a knot. Now you can leave it like this, or what I'm going to do is take some yellow string for the center of the flower. What you're going to do is bring the string through and then wind it around the needle a couple times. Then go back through the center and it'll create this little raised detail that adds a nice touch for the center. You can also do this to make flowers. The more times that you wind the string around the needle, the larger the flower will be. Next, I'm going to show you how to make a different type of flower. So first, you're going to bring the needle up through where you want the edge of the flower to be. Then go back down where you'd want the center of the flower to be, and do this again until you have 5 different lines. You're going to take the string and go under the thread, skipping every other string. Since there are 5 strings, there's an odd number of strings, and it'll end up going through every other to create this flower. I also took some yellow string to make the center, just like I did for the first flower. I'll also show you how to make a leaf vine. So basically it's a chain stitch, which is pretty similar to how we did the petals in the first flower. You're going to create a loop, then come back up so the loop doesn't go all the way through. Then you're going to go back down right next to where you came up from and just do this over and over again. Create a loop, go through and back down, and so on. Now just fill up the Nike logo with whatever designs you'd like. So here I'm adding another Lazy Daisy, and then I'll be also going back in and adding a ton of those different raised flowers. Alright, after I added all my flowers and leaves, I'm just going to remove the embroidery hoop, and that's the finished product.
Never gonna stand a chance, heartbreak like a sad romance. Said that you never come back again. Been 3 days, now you're back again. But I'm not your man, no I'm not your man. I can blow your mind like whoa.
For the second DIY, we'll be making this sock top. So to start, you'll need a couple pairs of long socks. It depends on how large you want the tube top to be. I would say use either 1.5 or 2 pairs of socks, so that would be 3 to 4 individual socks. For me, I started out by cutting up 4, but I ended up actually only using 3. But basically what you're going to do to start is cut off the actual foot part of the socks, so you just have the long ankle part. I'm not really sure what to call it. But basically you're just going to cut those pieces so that you have a square or rectangular piece of fabric. Next, I'm going to tie-dye the pieces, so I just do this by bunching up the fabric and putting rubber bands around it. I have a video already on my channel showing you guys how to tie-dye, so definitely check that out for a more in-depth tutorial. I'm just scrunching up the fabric, then mixing my dye, and I use 2 tablespoons of dye with 2 cups of water. Oh, also, make sure your fabric is damp before you apply the dye. Usually I would do this before I put the rubber bands on like I did in my DIY video, but here I forgot to do that, so last minute I just ran them under water so that the fabric would better absorb the dye. After you've dyed the tops, just let it sit overnight to dry.
Tomorrow.
Okay, so after 12 to 24 hours, I took off the rubber bands, and you should get something kind of like this. Run these pieces of fabric under water until the water runs clear, then I just threw them in the washing machine. Okay, warning, make sure you wear gloves when you wash the shirts. I didn't do this at first and it stained my hands. The dye did not come off for days and I ended up having to scrub my hands with baking soda to make it come off. So learn from me and wear your gloves. Now moving on to the sewing machine, I'm taking the pieces and sewing the edges of the opposite sides together. You want to make sure that you sew the side that you don't want to be showing so that the seams don't show on the outside of the top. And just repeat this step to connect however many pieces you need for your tube top. Again, for reference, I use 3 here. Then you're just going to sew the 2 end pieces together so that you have one connected tube top. Now I'm going to clean up the bottom edge, so I'm grabbing some pins and outlining a straight edge for me to sew. I also ironed it so that the fabric laid more flat so it was easier to put through the sewing machine. I'm just going to do a straight stitch down the bottom, making sure to remove the pins as I go. After that, I'm taking some small scissors and just cutting off the excess, and then I'm also going to cut off a bit of the edge of the seams at the very top so that they aren't showing through when I'm wearing it, and that's the final tube top. Okay, before I show you guys what this top looks like, oh, by the way, it looks like I'm naked. No, I'm wearing the top. Before I show you guys, just excuse my tan lines. I know they are super off, but yeah, so just ignore that. I'm actually quite surprised by how this turned out. Like, you literally just need a couple pairs of socks for the fabric, and since it's a stretchy material, it fits super well, and I'm also just really obsessed with this tie-dye blue color. Alright, so that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me do these 2 TikTok DIYs. Tag me in any recreations that you guys do because I would definitely love to see what you guys make. And feel free to leave any video suggestions down in the comments below. If you have any other TikTok trends or DIYs or anything like that that you want me to try out, then I would love to hear what you guys want to see. And until next time, I hope you guys are staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!